All right, people. I promised you an episode today. Damn it, I'm going to flip and deliver it. This episode is already a week late, so apologies for that. But it's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye, and basically to explain to you what the hell is happening to me. So last week, I was suffering with neurovirus. And anyone who's had neurovirus, it fucks you up. 8 hours, it completely and utterly fucks you up. And it just so happened to fuck me up during the time I'd normally record a Gooner Eagle Eye episode. So I wasn't able to do it last week. Felt a little bit better to be able to do a review of the Tottenham game, and it was the Tottenham game. There was no way I was not going to do a review of that. And then just when I thought I was over that, I started getting sniffles on Monday. I thought, what the fuck is this? Now it turns out I'm in the midst of a cold, or as a lot of cynical girls would say, man flu. Either way, not feeling great. Smack bang in the middle of it, just riding it out. I'm going to sound nasally as fuck. I don't have a cough button, so straight up, I will be coughing throughout this broadcast. I apologize now. There you go. That's my first one. So yeah, just getting through that essentially. But first things first, let's just report on, my thoughts over the past couple of games and where I think we are as a team. The mood in the Arsenal camp has significantly dropped. I don't think it's quite as bitter as we're often accused of being. I think people from outside teams see us as a team sees us as a fan base that deserts their team very, very quickly. And I can see why people would say that. But being within the fan base, I can understand the frustration. This isn't a case of, oh, we lost the game, Wenger out. This is a case of we've had years and years and years of barrenness, of no progress, of just essentially the same shit, different day, different year. So I can definitely understand it from a fan's point of view. Is that all we want as a fan group is just to see some progress. That's all we want. Do I feel that we've made progress? I feel we have. I feel we have made progress from last season. We've had a significantly better start in spite of the ridiculous loss that we suffered against Liverpool. Let's face it, it's our only loss this season. So we're obviously doing something right all of a sudden. I do think we're stronger. I think we're stronger for the people that we've brought in. I do feel we have a very good quality squad. And ultimately, now it's going to be about our temperament. Luck is going to be involved, and fitness is definitely going to be involved. I'll come back to that latter part later on. But what was my thoughts after seeing the Ludogorets game and the Tottenham game? Well, I did say in my Ludogorets preview that I felt it would be a more difficult game. I gave some of my thoughts during Liam's show. Liam had me on once again. Thank you, Liam, if you listen to this. And I said it on his review show, and I said it on my previous show. I felt it was going to be a difficult game. I didn't feel like we were going to smoke them. I went to work and people were telling me, oh, it was going to be 3-4-0. I'm like, nah. Trust me, there's going to be a goal in it. 2 goals maximum. We're not going to smoke them. And in the end, we did well to come back from it, but it's highlighting some fears I had. You guys know, and I got slated for it when I gave my PSG review. I slated Mustafi. I absolutely slated him because I felt like he got the runaround from Cavani. It was only Cavani's poor finishing that meant that we did not lose that game. I saw more evidence of that against Son, which worries me because the whole point of Mustafi coming in is that he's supposed to be the faster equivalent of a Mertesacker. So if he's not able to do the stuff that we bought or that we paid money for, what exactly is in the squad for, or what's he in the starting lineup for? That worries me. I know that prior to us buying him, there's a Spanish correspondent that Sky liked using. I think his name is I've forgotten his name and I'll butcher it. But he's a Spanish guy. Always, literally anything La Liga, Sky Sports tend to bring him on and they try and get an opinion from him. And the one thing he kept constantly saying is, Mustafi's not good enough for Arsenal. That which worried the fuck out of me. Because I was like, what do you mean he's not good enough? We're trying to spend 35 million on him. What do you mean he's not good enough? And that's all he kept saying, Mustafi's not good enough for Arsenal. He's not good enough for Arsenal. I started thinking, fuck. What do you mean? But then when you think about it, Mustafi was in the same team that Neville used to manage and see Valencia getting smoked 4-0, 5-0. He was in that team. So, and don't get me wrong, listen, don't start sending me hate tweets and saying, oh my God, so you're writing off Mustafi after a couple of bad games. I'm not writing him off. Let's just say I'm not totally convinced in him. I've said it in previous videos, but I've also given him props in previous videos. You know, when he's had a good performance, I've said, you know what, he's had a really good performance. I'm really impressed with him. I'm really happy with him. I do like a lot of attributes he does have. You know, I don't think he's the quickest, but he's quicker than Mertesacker, so that's something, I guess. I do think he reads the game. I do think he's a strong defender. No, I'll take that last critique back. I don't think he is that good of a reader of the game. But I do think he's a strong defender. I do think he's a capable defender. I do think he has good recovery abilities, almost like a Gibbs in that respect. But I don't think, again, like Gibbs, he particularly reads the game well. Where I think someone like a Mertesacker and a Gibbs, and a Monreal, what they are very good at is what they lose in pace. They are very good at reading the game. Say what you want about Mertesacker, and often his pace does get exposed, and I agree with that. But he's a very good reader of the game. He just is, and so is Monreal. They're two very good reading defenders. I am not convinced that Mustafi is. He does need to improve, and it is worth mentioning that he does need to. We do need to bear in mind he is coming into a new league. It will take him some time to adapt, and he's still young. I think he's just turned 25. So that stuff will come. You know, he will learn from someone like a Kashani, who himself, for some reason, the past couple of games hasn't played that well either. So I think generally the defense, for whatever reason, is suffering at the moment. Obviously, Man United away isn't the game to do it, but it may be time to start potentially bringing in a Gabriel, maybe blooding in a Holding, just to let those two know that, you know what, they have some pressure behind them. They have people who are ready to step up and take their place. All in all, I hope that the Tottenham game was a blip. I was extremely disappointed that we didn't win the game. A little bit relieved that we didn't lose the game, because it did hit the post towards the end, even though we also hit the post as well in the first half. Maybe the international break came just about. Probably it came at just the right period for us, just when we were starting to dip in form. We have a psychological problem when it comes to November. You know, our fixtures are never kind to us in November. We start fucking up in November very, very quickly. And then the third thing that happens, and that's the title of this video, injuries tend to occur in November. And right on fucking cue of all the fucking people that could get injured, heard some horrific news yesterday, and that was that I hate international breaks. One of the main reasons I hate international breaks is because it always seems like every time an international break happens, we as an Arsenal fan group hold our breath because we know that somebody important is about to fuck something up. And that's exactly what happened with Sanchez. You know, he was training with the Chile team, and lo and behold, the man has a hamstring injury. And for some ridiculous reason, instead of coming home or coming to London to deal with that hamstring injury, hamstring injuries are usually a 3-week job, provided you treat it straight away. For some weird reason, Chile are holding on to him and saying that, oh, it's not as bad as being reported, and there'll be a further assessment on Tuesday because he may be able to play against Uruguay next week. And obviously Arsenal are losing their shit. Like, what do you mean? If he's injured, send him back. Don't play him, and then you risk him being out for months and months. So at the moment, Arsenal are in like negotiations trying to bring the man back because it just seems like the most ridiculous situation to be in. You know, we're the ones that pay him. Send our damn player back. This is not difficult to understand. He is our player. Send him back. What are you talking about? So we're locked in negotiations trying to bring the man back, which seems ridiculous to me. But hey ho, it's Arsenal. It wouldn't be Arsenal if it wasn't something ridiculous wasn't happening. So there's that happening. And obviously it would be Sanchez. He would be probably next to Ozil, our most important player. A player who's been scoring goals for us, who's allowing us to play in a slightly different way that I think has been successful. And I think all of us just have this worry that there's certain players that Wenger cannot not play. Unfortunately, 2 of those players are Aaron Ramsey and Olivier Giroud. If Sanchez ain't there, Giroud's going to stay up front. And the thing is that I love Giroud as a plan B. And I know he's frustrated being on the bench. But our game slows down so dramatically when he starts up front. And we're going to have no choice. And I tell you what, Man United, they're going to love that. They'd much rather play against Giroud than they would against a Sanchez who's hounding them down. And a Man United team that, let's face it, they're not exactly confident. It looks like ahead of next week they're going to be without Zlatan because he's suspended, which I'm quite gutted about because that means Rashford will play. And judging by what Rashford did to us last season, we're fucked. So I'm nervous. I am nervous. And then if that wasn't bad enough, then late yesterday, it was confirmed that, yesterday, this morning, it was confirmed that Bellerin was pulled out of the under-21 Spain game because of an ankle injury. And I'm like, oh, come on. Jenkinson. I like Jenkinson. But it would have been nice to have our strongest right back in that Man United game. So that one's more touch and go. I don't know if he's definitely out for the United game. Trying to assess the extent of the injury, but it's looking like potentially we're also going to be without Bellerin as well. And it's just like, just cut us some slack, please. Probably the only bit of encouraging news, though, is that there have been some recent sightings of Danny Welbeck going into training. He's at the very least having light training. Don't think he'll be available for United and probably shouldn't be. Let's ease him back. He's been off for the last year. But it looks like at least potentially if we can somehow get something out of that United game, something positive, i.e. a win, we can go into that Bournemouth game potentially with a fresh Welbeck, which, considering Perez is out and it's looking like Sanchez is going to be out, Welbeck returning, for me, is a welcome return. People have their opinions on Welbeck. I still love him. I love him. My rule generally when it comes to players is if it looks like you're trying, if you give 100%, you're a hard worker on the pitch, I will forgive little indiscretions like the inability to finish. My problem with people like Ramsey in the past is I think he just runs around like a headless chicken, doesn't particularly have a lot of positional discipline, and more often than not gets caught out. But where I'm more forgiving of Welbeck is, yes, he cannot finish for shit, but generally he's a hard worker. Positionally, he's always there or where he needs to be. When he does play on the wing, he's always tracking back. He's a hard worker, and that's why I like Welbeck. I'm still trying to convince one of my best friends that Welbeck is a good player. It's not working, but I'm still working on him. Sounds like such doom and gloom. Anyone would think that we're like somewhere like 10th or something. You know, we're still in the top 4. I know, also in the top 4, but we are 2 points off top place. Should have been top if it wasn't for us conceding that Tottenham penalty, which was just a silly penalty to concede. We are still in the running. I'd love it for Wenger if he could finally beat a Mourinho team that ain't that good. Beat a Mourinho team. Because the one good thing I would say about playing them at Old Trafford as opposed to playing them at the Emirates is there'll be more impetus on Mourinho to play football. I'd be more worried, weirdly, about him coming to Emirates because I think he will come to the Emirates to park the bus. And we struggle against Mourinho teams that do that. Whereas our away record is fantastic. I think we've lost 1 in the whole of 2016. Who can say they've done that? Arsenal can say they've done that. We lost 1 away game in 2016. That's a pretty awesome away record. So, and funny enough, that was Old Trafford. the last time we lost away was Old Trafford. So it's really come full circle. So I'd love us to to go there, beat them, because I think we can. I think this is a underperforming, poor United side. But then we played a poor United side last year and got smoked. So we need to put some shit right. And I think next week is the time to do that. I'm excited. I'm praying for no more injuries. I'm praying for once for some good news to the injuries that we do have. We need people back ASAP. Thinking about it, I suppose Perez is back, I think, beginning of December. So that's something. Also, I feel like if we could just get through this month psychologically by picking up 2 more wins or 3 more wins if you throw PSG in there as well, I think psychologically it would do so much for us going into the rest of the season. So I say I'm cautiously optimistic, but more cautiously than optimistic, if you want me to be honest. And the one piece of good news, although it's not been confirmed anywhere, there's lots of outlets reporting that Bellerin is about to sign a 6-year improved contract, which would be fantastic news. And hopefully will spark a little run of people signing new contracts, including Sanchez, Ozil, Koscielny. The one thing I will say, it seems like the dialogue coming from Koscielny is that he's ready to stay for the rest of his career at Arsenal. Fantastic. I'm more encouraged that Ozil will stay over Sanchez. I think it's still possible we might lose them both. I've got a gut feeling we'll lose Sanchez. Just my gut feeling. I don't know why I have that feeling. I just do. But I suspect Ozil will stay. I think at the very least he's comfortable. And I think psychologically for him, the Madrid move hurt him. I think he felt like he wasn't wanted. And the one thing that he 100% feels from the fans, from no doubt Arsene Wenger, and probably the media is starting to appreciate him as well, as I think he finally feels wanted. He finally feels like part of the team. And I think that may be enough to just get this deal over the line. So I guess we'll see. Pretty much it from me. It's kind of boring because it's international week. England played out. I watched the game. I'll be honest. I watched the England game last time and I literally fell asleep. So forget that. So that's pretty much it from me. Sorry I recorded this so late. We'll get back on schedule next week. I just need to feel better. And I want to see if I can also try and start interacting with you guys more when I do record these live, so that, if you're in the chat and you have any questions you want to ask me, you can go ahead and do so. Need to start doing a Q&A session as well. Keep meaning to, haven't done yet, will do. Reach out to Stel probably tomorrow now, just to see if he will be up for doing a preview either Thursday evening or Friday evening, or quite frankly Saturday. Oh no, we're Saturday kickoff, aren't we? I can't remember what time our United game kickoff is. So anyway, me and Stel will find some time to do a preview. So much like the Robbie Richmond style when we play Liverpool at the start of the season, I'll arrange some time to do a preview with Stel. Hopefully he'll be up for it. Last couple of times I asked him, the guy's been busy. I think he's doing all sorts with the show at the moment. So if you haven't listened to him, do Google Shoot the Defense. He does run constant. The guy's the podcast king, I tell you. Between his Shoot the Defense podcast and the Bloke Show, you will learn some stuff from Stel. So do head over and go and check out that podcast if you haven't already. Sorry about how coffee I've been in this podcast. I did warn you. Try to get through it. The one encouraging thing is they say the cough is the last stage of the cold. So if I'm coughing, let's hope it's good news. So we'll see. I'm done rabbiting. I will speak to you guys probably next week now. Hopefully with some news with regards to some more Arsenal news for the week, as well as where I am in terms of inviting Stel and inviting Mems, which people keep thinking I'm lying about. I am trying to see if I can get him on the show. I know he's starting to do his Arsenal fan extra, which takes up a lot of his time. We had a break from all the internet recently, so I didn't particularly want to disturb him because, could have been a genuine reason. I don't really want to pry if he doesn't feel like disclosing. So, yeah. So I will get members on at some point. Just bear with me, people. Bear with me. And until next time, I will leave you guys to it. Up the Arsenal. Peace.